Hey, this is Tom, and this video is about War Room, a Larry Harris game, and today I'm gonna recommend how to set up the game for a six-player game if you have the table space. So I've set everything up on this board. This includes the core game and the materials from the Jumbo expansion. I'm using the core game game mat, world map. It fits together. You'll want to unfold it and slot it together. You'll want to pay attention to how you orient it depending on your players. So, for example, this is a little obvious, but Japan is here, and so Japan's supply of commands is in front of that country. I typically found it's easiest for the Soviets to lean over the top and work backwards, but obviously you can arrange them however you like. Here's the Americans in front of the US. Today we're having the US also play China, and we've talked about Japan. Here's Great Britain. I put them down here because they spread all the way up there. They have a lot of Africa, Asia, and Australia. So they'll be getting in everyone else's way quite a bit. Then there's Germany, which is focused in Europe, and Italy, which closely partners with Germany. I've set up both battle boards, one on either side, so that battles could be played simultaneously. If you had a naval battle, and then you would flip it to the land battle side. I put the dice roller cups and the dice, 10 dice, nearby. I took some hotspots, and these are used to track the number of dice you roll if you have more than 10, up to 30 dice per battle per side. So if this would be 16, for example. And those are nice and chunky, so I usually use those. Otherwise, I put the hotspots in the middle of the game map for easy reach as they're placed around the world as hotspots rise up. I put the slipcase covers out of the way because you won't need them during the game. So I just put those off to the side. I'm not demonstrating the whiteboards that come with the Jumbo expansion today, so I put them off to the side. You might want the rulebook handy. And over here in the corner are some of the SE things that I put off in a corner. The extra dice, the timer, the folios, and the bag that comes with the Jumbo expansion. I found could be used for dice, or I found it useful for the hotspots, to put all the hotspots in the bag. We've got the rules reference by the supply, so the phases and the combat, and then people can take these to refer to them when they're having discussions. I've got the common token storage box, so I've got carrier fighters up here. You could also just mix them in with the fighters supply over here. People are going to end up tossing them in there as well. Or you could even put them with the carriers, since that's what they're associated with. Then we've got some landing tags. Each person could have their own supply there. The stress tokens, which will come out to the stress board, and the medals, which also come out to the stress board. The industry tokens, which come out to the map, the flip side being the bomb tokens. And then this last one is extra pieces that you probably don't need, and the stars for the smaller scenarios. You get the morale board flipped to the correct side, and then the supply of units. I put these right next to the morale board so that when units are killed or eliminated, they come here, and then they'll go back to the supply. And they're in a central location so everyone can reach them. So you can see the space needed for each nation's supply actually isn't that much. You can put the box with the peg right on top, and then that right on top of the card holder, and then you'll have your OMP orders right beside that. So it's not as spread out as I originally showed you guys. So let's look inside one of these boxes here. I'll take the US for example. So I like to keep national tokens on in the large slot with the cards on top like that, and then I take them out, and so during play you'll have the national tokens, and then I put the pegs in with the air units because they're round and easier to find than if they were in with the naval units. And then there's the naval units and land units, sorry, not units, commands in each of these three boxes or compartments. So once you take out the cards, you will slot them in. So I've folded up the edges here, and then you can see in the back, I like to just push up on the back like that to gently insert the cards. As I've done with China here. So you can see if I wanted to put in another card, I would just push in like that and push the card in. So for some nations like Japan, they have numerous territories, and so they might need to start with an extra card holder to put their extras. Or in some games you only need to fill territories that actually display resource income. So here, this one has resource income. There are some of these minor islands, which, such as New Guinea, which have a territory card for when it's captured, but they don't have any resource income. And so the real reason to have the card, besides reference for startup, is to count up how many resources you'll get at the direct national economy phase, the first phase where you start to peg up your resources. You'll note China's special, they don't have oil, that's why it's blacked out for them. So that's a nice tidy way to keep your game compact. And I put the drink holds out, that's just kind of a joke. We've got the Soviets drinking vodka, maybe the Italians are drinking wine, and so on. I didn't have a can of Coke, so SpongeBob goes for the Americans. Anyway, I put the neutral nations over here. They were just a sort of stretch goal for the Kickstarter, so they aren't essential to the game. They're just handy to have, especially if somebody decides to claim one. They could also go in one of these extra card holders. And here's the second battle board. Put the dice cup nearby, and you'll just do this during combat. And over in the center of the wheel, I like to keep these in the common storage box rather than each respective box because they get mixed up with the commands. But we'll put the square ones out for the homeland stress track, and the round ones, which you can remember by these round circles, face down on the turn order track, and they're black on that side, so you can randomly draw from them without needing a cup to draw from. So these will be flipped over if you need to determine anything randomly. I've got the command staves set up, so there's 6 of those. And so for the setup, you can refer to the territory cards. So let's take one of these, for example. And on the back side, Denmark, for example, it shows you where Denmark is and what goes on it, but also, let's see if I can get it to focus here. No, it doesn't want to focus. Shows you the number of units in the stack and the stack, the command number. Now that's just so, but also on the command itself, it has a miniature version of what's required for the setup, so you don't even need to refer to the territory cards. And there's a quick setup where you don't even put units underneath in the beginning, you just put the commands out. And then when you go to battle, or to move, or give them an order, you fill in the commands. It really takes about the same amount of time, but maybe somebody could do it while you're waiting on somebody else. So that's a little bit of the redundancy there. And so once each nation would put their own units on the map, these are also a way to verify what ought to be in a stack, so the other players can double check to make sure you're not cheating in your setup. And they can confirm that the 37th command in G7, which is Belarus, actually contains those units. So I'm not going to set everything up here, but that would be a fairly long video. But there are a couple of other things about when you're applying the stickers on the sticker sheets that I'd like to mention. Make sure that you don't accidentally place these jumbo flags on these colored plastic pieces. The jumbo flags go on the black pieces, not on the national colored pieces. And they're black so they can be randomized, as I was discussing before. And yeah, you don't even have to, for the stickers, you don't even have to put them all out if you want to save the ones that don't have starting setup on them. You don't have to put those stickers on until they're needed. You could pretend this is a legacy game. So that's just an overview of the initial setup here and the recommended table layout. I'll just zoom out here so you can see the whole thing. Take a look at it for reference later on. All right, in the next video, it'll be a quick review of how to play the game. Thanks for watching. Bye.